Hello and thank you for joining me. I am running another short video today to talk to you about awakening our hearts. Okay, and firstly what that means, because I have no idea what that meant to start with, but also how when we work on awakening our hearts, how we can bring in those true connections with others that we crave. Okay, so we can bring in those true connections, we can activate our intuition as well, and come into this space of really magnetizing our true desires to us. Okay, so when I talk about connections with others, I'm talking about, you know, our romantic relationships, our connection with our kids, even to the point of allowing ourselves to trust ourselves, love ourselves, believe enough in ourselves to be visible, truly visible to our soul clients. Okay, so creating those connections as well. So, and this also, when we work with awakening our heart, we can also, I mean, same with most healing, but particularly with this, we're going to create that ripple effect of healing as well. So, you know, if you are in a situation where, you know, my relationship with my parents was not in a good place, you know, I had no control over their healing, you know, the particular things that I could see that they needed, but that ripple effect of me doing my healing then rippled out to them, so it's then helped them with their journey as well. So this is for you. If you feel disconnected, if you feel that you're not accepted, you're not seen, you're not heard, you don't belong, if you feel that you're, you know, you may be in a current relationship, but you don't feel that real depth of connection that you want, you may be in the space where it's like, where have they all gone? Like, where are these people that I want to connect with, you know, relationship wise? Where are these people? Where have they gone? Why can't I, you know, we can often not even see them, let alone, you know, start to potentially walk towards them. Okay, so this is a whole journey about that true kind of deep connection. So within this video, we're going to talk about why our hearts closed down in the first place, because, as I say, I had no idea that I was in that space. And then, I mean, it's really, really obvious to me now that I was, because I was still in, you know, a really sort of traumatized space. But then actually how we can help ourselves. So this is all about, as I say, deep, deep healing to work on that true connection and unwinding our early childhood conditioning. I forgot the word for a moment. Conditioning. So all of this work is part of my Surviving to Thriving Mastermind, my signature program. So I talked yesterday about deactivating our chaos. So when I talk about the mastermind, I kind of group it up into three sort of distinct areas. So it's about helping women to come out of survival mode into this thriving space, but we look particularly at deactivating your chaos, we look at awakening your heart, and we look at rising into your true potential. So, you know, to feel that we're really thriving in life, we want to be in a space where our relationships feel good. So, you know, as I say, partners, clients, with your kids, you know, and it's about having that really strong feeling of feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling accepted, feeling that we belong. And as much of a cliche as it is, you know, we have to start from that space of loving ourselves first and foremost, trusting ourselves, truly trusting ourselves, coming into this space of real deep, you know, self-trust, self-belief. So before I go any further, just for anybody new, I'll just do a quick introduction of myself. So my name's Anna Rushmer, and I'm a hypnotherapist and breathwork facilitator. And I basically help empower and liberate women. Okay, so from whatever has happened in life up until this point. So there may be, you know, big traumas that people have experienced. You may feel that you haven't necessarily been through any sort of really deep trauma, but you're in this space of feeling really stuck and so fucking done with it. You just know, however broken you're feeling, and I totally get that truly broken feeling. That's exactly where I was when I really started my deep healing. But you just know there's something, however broken you're feeling, you just know that there's more to life. There's more to be had to this lifetime. You know, it's that really deep. I used to keep thinking, but there has to be an answer. There has to be an answer. This can't just stop here. You know, ladies that join me in my programs have generally been through quite a journey of trying to help themselves, and nothing has worked. So it's kind of getting to that space of, I have absolutely had enough of feeling like this, you know, having enough of being in this space. So wherever you're coming from, whether it's kind of a deep trauma point, or, you know, you may feel that it's not quite so deep. If this resonates, please do get in touch with me. Drop any questions in the comments if you'd like to. You know, I'm always here to have a chat through with anybody what's happening with you, okay, for you right now. So we'll talk about the problem, why our hearts close down, and then we'll talk about the solutions as well. So what happens as we kind of journey through life and we experience, you know, maybe traumatic experiences, we experience something that's fearful, and, you know, these things don't need to feel like massive things to us as an adult, because we need to remember that it's the feelings and the thoughts, the feelings that were kind of instilled when we were little that will still have a knock-on effect now. So, for example, anyone that's followed me for a while, you'll know that, you know, my healing journey has been from back from kind of childhood sexual abuse, abandonment trauma, kind of mother woundings, that sort of world, into this space of actually finally, thankfully, finding that inner peace, you know, happiness, joy that I wanted, and then being able to create this strong, loving connection with my own child, breaking that those generational trauma chains, and actually coming into this space of, you know, forgiving myself, forgiving others, so that actually life can just feel, you know, calm and pleasant. I can't remember where I went off on a tangent there. But as we grow up, I was talking about it being relevant to little us. So we may well, you know, a lot of women particularly, I think, will kind of think, well, you know, this happened, but actually it's not a massive deal now. I've kind of dealt with it. You know, I'll carry on. I'll carry on, just kind of getting through life almost. So just be aware that, you know, if you're kind of being, if you feel your body reacting to what we're talking about now, and you're kind of getting that, okay, yes, this feels quite like it could be me, feels quite interesting, then, you know, do reach out and we can have a chat about, as I say, about what's happening. But the problem is, as we experience things through our life, our hearts, so, you know, anything fearful, anything that's taught us lessons about not being able to trust ourselves, not being able to feel really worthy, really deserving, good enough, you know, there are lots of tiny little lessons that kind of chip away at us as we grow up, as we journey through our lives, and, you know, possibly trauma events as well. But with each of those, our hearts start to close down. And they do that, you know, from this space of wanting to protect ourselves, wanting to kind of create this safe space for ourselves. So we start to learn that, you know, maybe, you know, we can't emotionally connect with our parents. Maybe we can't emotionally connect. We can't share our emotions with the people that we would expect were there to support us. You know, these are kind of obviously using adult words that we wouldn't necessarily use as a child, but we get to kind of experience that we can't trust people. So then maybe we can't trust ourselves, and then people will tell us stuff about ourselves that we don't necessarily think is true, but you know, we take that on board as the truth. So we start start sort of losing that trust, that love for ourselves, that belief in ourselves, and our hearts start closing down. And what that then creates as we kind of journey through life and our heart closes down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, we're then kind of presenting the world, the universe, with our closed heart. So we then are going to attract more of the same. So if we're used to not feeling valued, not feeling important, not feeling heard, not feeling loved, we are going to naturally bring more of that into our world. You know, when people talk about things that happen being a mirror, that's what's happening in that space. So we are then creating more things, we're attracting more things into our world that will basically consolidate, you know, what our subconscious knows, what our heart knows, what our body knows, you know, what our nervous system knows as well, that actually, you know, we have to be really locked down, we have to be afraid of the world because actually there are people that are out there to get us. So we need to hide, perhaps, you know, whatever it is. Whenever we start the Surviving to Thriving Mastermind, by the way, we start with this nervous system regulation work, and we will very much, you know, keep that in mind as we work through. The word boundaries has just pinged into my mind. We work with huge amount of boundary setting as well. So this is coming into this space as well of knowing that we need to put ourselves first. So this really strong kind of self-love space of employing those boundaries that we desperately need for ourselves, you know, and stripping out any guilt that naturally comes up when we start to think about ourselves, start to nurture ourselves, start to look after ourselves, you know, all of this stuff that very naturally happens for us, but we start to strip all of that out. So the solution to this, so we're in this world of, okay, my heart is closed down because that is what feels safe. That's how I can look after myself, you know, the best. And in this space, you know, there's no fault of our own for being in this space, I hasten to add. It is purely because of, you know, life's experiences, maybe trauma experiences as well, that we find ourselves in this locked down space. And you know, we are going to potentially, when we think about romantic relationships, potentially we're going to be attracting people who either don't treat us well, or, this was me all over, absolutely did the former, but also when we are with somebody that is actually treating us in a way that we would really like, you know, and, you know, that kind of, and showing us that love that we've craved throughout our years, we often cannot accept that. Well, if our hearts are locked down, we're not going to be able to accept that. You know, I was definitely in this space of huge fear, and feeling way too responsible for somebody else's feelings because somebody was just showing me just so much love, and I didn't believe that I deserved it in any way, shape or form. Thankfully, that was the real kind of crux of my healing starting, because I kind of realised that was off. Anyway, so getting back to the point. So the problem is our hearts are closed down because of things that have happened. That is in no way, you know, our fault at all. But it is something that we have the power to change, and we can take full responsibility for. I don't mean fault for, but take full responsibility for making those changes. Okay, so this is around the solution with this is to be able to work through those blocks that are keeping our heart closed. Okay, so those things that are stopping us from trusting the world. And remember, this is going to be those little subconscious programs that have been locked in for years and years, probably decades if you're anything like me. But they stop us from trusting the world. They stop us from asking for support. They stop us from being open to, you know, really magical things coming into our worlds. And they leave us in a place, it leaves us in a space of feeling absolutely bloody exhausted, because we're trying to be this, you know, ultra independent, because we've learned that that's safe, remember, but we're in this ultra independent kind of world of, it's okay, I can do everything, it's fine, I'm strong, you know, I've got this. And we are all those things. We are all those things, but we're doing it from a space of lockdown as opposed to really sort of standing in our own power, if that makes sense. Do drop any questions as we go through, of course. If anything is unclear, or drop me a DM and we can talk one-to-one, that's fine. So we're going to work through those blocks. And we're going to uncover those, or we can uncover those with hypnotherapy. So well, there are various ways. I'll cover each of them as we go through. And this is what we do in the Mastermind as well. But we uncover those, with hypnotherapy. So using hypnotherapy, and I talked about this yesterday as well when we talk about deactivating your chaos. Same sort of... same theory applies, but just used in a, you know, with a different intention, with a different focus. So with hypnotherapy, we can communicate directly with the subconscious mind, and the subconscious is so damn powerful, so damn magical, that it just knows exactly where to go for your root cause healing. So what we do, I mostly do sort of the deep analytical hypnotherapy within my mastermind. And this is about following the feeling. So we follow what's happening, the feeling, what's happening in your world right now. And the subconscious will take you straight back to the root cause of that. Now, when I say that, know that this is within a space that you know, we'll create a space for you to feel really safe, really protected, so that this work is about releasing. This is not in any way about re-traumatizing. You know, when we think about talking therapies and people, I've actually had clients come to me that have said they've been told by counsellors or whoever that they should talk through every bit of detail of, you know, a traumatic event. That to me is re-traumatizing. You know, that is not the point of it. We can do also, just as we're in this subject, we can also do content-free work with hypno as well. So I will never put you back into a situation. I mean, I can't do it anyway. You're leading the hypnotherapy, okay? You're completely in control of it. I'm there to guide you with it. But we will never go back into something, you know, that does not feel comfortable. But we can use the subconscious. We can allow the subconscious to take us back to that root cause, so that we can identify where that feeling started, where that block started, and actually remove it, release it, reprogram it, whatever needs to happen. And again, the subconscious knows exactly what you need to do that. It is magical. I just love this work. And, you know, we will work on that from birth too as well. So this is about really focusing on what your heart needs to open, to awaken, where those blocks are, where those limiting beliefs are, where those programs are that created that heart kind of lockdown in the first place. Just as I talk about this, it's just kind of come into my mind. If anybody listening to this is kind of thinking, okay, I'm not sure I want to do like a full-on mastermind at the moment. If you wanted to just pinpoint like one of these 3 areas that I'm talking about, by all means get in touch about that as well, because you know, my work is all about bespoke work for each client, and it's about meeting you where you are right now. This isn't about, you know, I'm gonna push you through a set process. This is about this being absolutely right for you. Integrity, authenticity, all the way through. So we work on your limiting beliefs, your blocks within your subconscious. We will then do this alongside working with your Gene Keys profile. We may bring some human design into it as well, but it's predominantly Gene Keys. And this is so that we can truly pinpoint. This is working with your heart path, your heart chakra. And this is so we can really pinpoint what bespoke for you need to really focus on, okay, specifically for your heart. So this will help us identify, you know, those shadows, those limiting beliefs, those woundings that we know maybe on a more conscious level, but it will also help us to really dig deep into shadows that may be still trying to hide a little bit from us, okay? So this is about following your specific heart path and actually looking at, you know, those codes that you have coded within your DNA, the shadows that need to be released, but then all those wonderful gifts that you already have, that are already within you. We just need to, you know, move the grey clouds out the way and help you to really embody and integrate all of that magic that you already hold. Breathwork, we then use breathwork, which is incredible for busting the heart open. But I mean that in a lovely, gentle, you know, magical way, not explosive and horrible way at all. And it allows you, my first breathwork, sort of true breathwork experience as a client was mind-blowing. I always talk about, you know, my healing as feeling like it was the various stages as mind-blowing, because I had done quite a lot of healing up until that point, and I had no idea that my heart was still so locked down. So I had somebody say to me prior to this work, you know, connecting with your heart, and I was like, I beg your pardon? I can't comprehend that. What do you mean? How do I connect in with my heart? And unfortunately she couldn't explain that to me, but then it made sense when I came into my own breathwork session. And bearing in mind I've done a lot of healing, which is why I cover all these various modalities in the work that I do, bring them all together, because when I got to that point I realised within that breathwork session, that first sort of proper one, that my heart was completely encased in barbed wire, completely locked down. There was nobody getting anywhere close to that, you know, because it was still so locked down, so closed. So breathwork is amazing for releasing suppressed emotions. Hypno does that as well, or we do that within Hypno as well, but releasing suppressed emotions, you know, purging that energy, that toxic energy, but also allowing us to come into this space of really feeling safe, feeling that we're loved, we belong, we're accepted, coming into this space of creating, you know, literal space for that to come into our world. So instead of kind of presenting ourselves to the world as this, you know, locked down, everything's super tight, everything, you know, I'm scared. It's like, I'm, you know, we could be the friendliest person in the world, but if our body and our subconscious is locked down, our nervous system is locked down like that, we are not, you know, we're not going to be creating, you know, the love, the abundance, the connection, the whatever it may be, all of the goodness that we want in our life. We're not going to be able to bring that in until we can really kind of open our heart space. So this is all about allowing ourselves to feel really loved, really safe, really accepted, and that we really belong. So this this work is all about really connecting in as well. You may have heard people talking about kind of connecting in with our inner child. This is what this work is all about. It's about being able to connect and being able to effectively kind of reparent that little version of us that got lost, being able to hold her in love, and really being able to I might get emotional on this. I do get emotional on inner child stuff. Sorry, not sorry. But so you can really commit to loving yourself and truly being that love for yourself, love for your inner child that does not leave, that does not let you down, that can be so trusted, you know. And it is essentially reparenting ourselves. So it's about coming into this space of this deep connection with ourselves, deep love, deep trust, deep self-belief, you know, and just being our biggest cheerleader, and that of our inner child, and scooping that little inner child up that, you know, was lost, felt so unloved, felt undervalued, you know, whatever it may be specific for you, so that we can break all those patterns, break those patterns that we can still see as an adult, so that we can come into this space of really deep, true connections. And that, when we come into that space, that is when we are so magnetic to all of the good stuff that we want to bring into our worlds. So any questions, as I say, with any of this, please do either drop me a comment, drop me a DM. More than happy to connect on messaging, or have a quick connection call if people feel called to do so. You know, it's really important for me that women feel that there are answers and that you feel supported. So, you know, do get in touch if you want to talk about the Mastermind, any of my, so my Surviving to Thriving Mastermind, any of my other work, see if that's a good fit, then you're more than welcome to do so. You know, and we can then have a chat about where you are, where you want to be, what may be, you know, the right fit for you now, and actually just see if we are the right fit to work together. If for any reason we weren't, then I can always recommend, you know, amazing people to help you as well. So I send you tons of love. Thank you for joining me, and I will speak to you again soon.